Global Affairs Analyst Folashade Ogunkeyade is with me now from New York to speak on the outcome of the U.S. vice presidential debate. Thanks a lot, ma'am, for joining in at this point. So talking about the handling of the pandemic in the U.S., both candidates, of course, thrashed the others' plans for combating the virus. But which of these individuals' arguments resonate with you most and why?
Good morning. Thank you for having me. The Harris-Biden ticket resonated with me the most. I definitely am with the camp that President Trump has failed us, the U.S. citizens, with the handling, with the audio tape that came out from Woodward, and all the things that has happened, inclusive of him contacting the virus himself, and him contacting the virus 9 months to the pandemic is condemnation on his administration.
But then the plan of Mr. Joe Biden was also thrashed in that he is accused of plagiarizing a previous plan. What do you make of that?
I'm not sure if that's true. I would have to see what the fact checkers say. But his plan sounds more resound. In order to get the U.S. economy back in track, you have to protect people. Without the people, there's no economy. So if his plan is focused on getting the people healthy and safe so that the economy can open back up and thrive, then I think the plan is sound.
But some analysts have said Ms. Harris should have harped on the fact that the White House has been described as a hotspot for cases rising in the U.S. Do you think she should have done that?
We can always look back and say what should have been done. I think she did make the case. It's a fine line when you're dealing with sickness and an epidemic. If you come across too harsh, you may lose some people. So I think she did a fine balance of speaking of what he hasn't done and then speaking on what the Biden campaign will do.
So let's talk about racial justice now and how both candidates, handled the topic. Opinion polls, on the topic of racial justice, so to speak now, the Republican leadership in America is accused of not doing enough. Specifically, the police appears, in their words now, to have not done enough to protect minorities. What do you think?
I agree with that. Pence's response to the Breonna Taylor question left much to be desired. He did not address how he would deal with this ongoing issue. It's a time of reckoning, and it was time for him to say resoundingly how racial inequality and police brutality will not be tolerated by his administration. Yet he wanted to put forth law and order. Law and order starts with the police being accountable for their actions. So I definitely think that Pence lacked in that regard and should have talked to persons like myself and people that look like me.
Right. What do you then make of the opinion polls? Mr. Biden leading by single digits in battleground states that will be crucial, to determining who the eventual winner will be.
Okay, I think that these next 27 or some odd days are very crucial. I think most people have made up their mind. Unfortunately, anything can happen with Trump involved, but I definitely think that it's a battle that can be waged, and states that were red can definitely turn blue.
So for you, what's crucial for you now? There's talk about, also the Supreme Court now, whether you think the Supreme Court lineup should be decreased or whether it should be maintained to the 9 number of justices. What do you think in this argument?
You know what? I'm still unsure myself about if packing the court is the right response, but you do have to understand that Ginsburg herself, on her dying wish, asked that the next president, whoever that may be, pick the next nominee. And historically, they have always allowed the next president to pick the nominee. So if we're going against historical mandates, then maybe packing the court might be a new historical change as well. So we'll see about that one.
Indeed, we'll see. Thank you very much, Folashade Ogunkeyade, for speaking with us on TVC News.
Thank you. I love your channel, and shout out to my father, Tuba JMK.
Many thanks, ma'am.